Hey, George.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. Somewhat, I guess.
Somewhat. All right, well, I'm all prepared today.
All right.
So, how'd it go with Holly?
It went all right. She wants me to work on this.
Let me see here. Let me take this off first. 7 stages of grief?
Yeah. And then the
What?
balloons, I gotta put how I feel.
Okay.
And then the face, I gotta draw
Let's see.
how I look. Like when I'm sad.
What your expression is.
Yeah.
Does this make sense to you?
I told her I might have 3 or 4.
You might have 3 and 4. You might have 3 and 4 stages or stages or steps that you go through.
She said you can have multiple.
Let me see. Well, stages are like steps, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go up or down. Now what you said you could have maybe 2 of them is sometimes people go back and forth
Yeah.
between one stage or the next, and sometimes go like from stage 5, tumble down to stage 3, go to stage 4, tumble back to stage 3.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't always work in a straight.
But at the same
Right.
time, it's just like keep bouncing
It
back.
goes
and forth.
back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And stages of grief regarding what exactly?
Oh, she wants me to focus on like with my friend, my children, my kids that I lost, the twins. So she thinks my friendship is like a grief.
Say that again? Sorry.
She thinks that my friendship is like a grief.
Your friendship with Al
Al.
is like a grief?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, kinda.
How so?
1 minute he's there, the next minute he's gone.
But is that, now your understanding, is that what you're working on in terms of these stages of grief? Is it all about him? Or
Oh, no,
does
no,
this
no.
cover other things?
No, it's about, no, I already said it. It's about my best friend, about my twins, and then about my children. It's just how I feel about everything. Because I didn't know the answer to what she wanted me to do. But she said I had to work on the grief. So I asked her which grief does it mean? And that's what she said, it could be anything. I don't know, George.
Well, so how's your depression been?
I've been sad and crying, happy, I don't know, all different types.
So just all over the place.
Yeah. I watch sad things on TikTok.
So have you been are you back to taking that Prozac or no?
Mm-hmm.
You are?
I'm taking the 20 milligram.
And that was a cut from before?
Yeah, they want me to do a week worth.
Oh, no, that's right.
Because
You stop taking it, so it's like go 20 for a while, then they'll bump you back to 40.
yeah, I got both of the pills. I got the 42.
All right.
It's just that they want me to start the 20 off because the 40 will be too much of side
Too much,
effects.
right? So do 20 for a week or 2, then get back to the 40.
Yeah, just a week, yeah.
Right. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Perfect sense, actually. All right, so, here's the thing. So, Holly wants you is helping you in terms of looking at this and understanding this as a grieving process, you know, just trying to help you. And the whole thing is, you know, really, it's like I said the other day, I mean, just give me as many tools as possible,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to cope and to manage things. Okay, manage things in terms of how you're feeling and what that's doing to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, so what I came prepared to talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are is depression.
Yes.
So I brought you two very different handouts,
Okay.
but they're very connected.
All right.
Different but connected, not the same, but related.
Okay. You don't mind if I smoke my cigarette, do you?
Smoke them if you got them. As they used to say in the Army. All right. So let me just talk for a minute here.
Okay.
Because when you're dealing with depression, okay, what I wanted to lay out for you is that there's like three things you need to do.
Okay.
Or three things that can really help with depression.
All right.
Okay? One of them, and I'm going to start with this because, well, these are all equally important, but the first one is what you can most immediately do, and it's the simplest to understand.
Okay.
And that is, take your medicine.
Yes.
Okay? So, why are we going to start there? Well, depression is a biologically based brain disorder. You know what biologically based means? Biologically based means this is the way your brain works. Okay, so in other words, biologically based disorder is different from someone who is just impolite.
Okay.
Okay, or someone who's inconsiderate.
Yes.
Okay? That's their personality, that's the way they are, but you can teach them some things and maybe they can become a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more aware, and change it. That's their behavior. Okay? Biologically based brain disorder is my brain isn't processing information, isn't managing feelings like a normal brain would. My brain is complicated in the sense of, it's just the part of the brain, the areas of the brain that regulate emotions, that keep people on a steady kind of basis, not too high, too low, but kind of in between there, humming along. People with depression, people with anxiety, these are called mood disorders, meaning their brains process information different from people without.
Yeah, I got both of them.
Yeah, so what's depression? Depression is because of a person's brain, they dwell on things that most people could let go of.
Okay.
It's not that people with depression don't want to let go, they do. They just can't. It's ruminating. It's thinking about the same thing over and over again. It's like, I got to stop thinking about this, but you find that you can't. And
yeah, I have racing thoughts.
Yeah. So the other thing about depression is, and it's real clear with research is, here's two kids. Okay. So they both play on the same baseball team, and they both go 3 for 4 batting up. They each make 3 hits and make 1 out.
Yeah.
So, most kids would be what? Happy that they had 3 hits and only made 1 out. That's pretty good batting average. That's a pretty good day, as a baseball player.
Yeah.
But if a kid says, man, yeah, I had 3 hits, but so what? I could have had 4 hits, I made an out. So that kid who's focusing on making the out versus the kid who's focused on, yeah, I had 3 hits, I can tell you right now, that kid who's focused on the 1 out that he made instead of the 3 hits, they're going to grow up to have depression. What's the difference between the two? People without depression tend to focus and remember more of the successes than the failures.
Yeah.
People with depression everything else being equal, are going to minimize the successes and focus on the failures.
Okay.
Okay? Now, is that a choice?
No.
It is, but it isn't. Okay, it is a choice in the sense of, look, Junior, don't worry about someone can tell them and talk, and maybe this kid can eventually come on, well, yeah, I guess you're right, I should just be happy about the 3 hits. But you're right, it's gonna linger. It's still gonna stay in the back of their mind. But you're right that it's not a choice in the sense of what makes these kids so different though? The way their brain is wired, the way their brain got set up. It's not their fault. That's why it's a biologically based brain disorder. No different than, this kid who's only 5 feet 6 instead of 5 feet 10, inches tall. That's set by his genes. It's not his fault that he's shorter than he wants to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you have a brain that struggles with depression, biologically based, I didn't stand in line asking for this. I certainly didn't read books in terms of how to be depressed. I would rather not be depressed, but my brain just doesn't work right. I got that. We started watching that one video, but we never got to the one on depression. Remember that video about the couples?
Yeah.
And I said, well, there's on the second disc, there's similar kind of interviews with people who have like, anxiety, fear, anger, and then at the end there's about a 35 or so minute segment on depression.
Yeah, I want to watch that one.
Yeah, so next time we'll have more time, so we'll watch that next time.
Okay.
And then talk about it, and that'll make it real clear what the biology of depression is.
Okay.
So because there's a biological basis to depression, that's why medication works.
No.
Okay? Can you give medicine to someone with bad manners?
No.
Well, you could, but it's not going to help them. So you're right. There is no medicine that cures bad manners. There is no medicine that cures someone who's a narcissist, for instance. But depression, yeah, medicine does help with depression. Why? Because it's a biologically based. There's biology involved here. Brain disorder. That's why medicines work. Diabetes. That's biologically based disorder. Does medicine help diabetes?
Yes.
Absolutely, because it's biologically based.
I know that one.
Yeah, but when you think about people with diabetes, you take medicine, and it helps it. You think about people with high blood pressure, you take medicine, and it helps it.
Yes.
Okay? Because these are all biologically based disorders.
Okay.
Depression is just like that. Okay, so depression is ruminating on the past and focusing on past failures. And the other thing about depression, we'll see it in the video, but just mention real fast. Depression isn't just an emotion; it also affects how you see things and how you think about things. Okay, like the kid who goes 3 for 4. The only thing he can think of is, man, but I could have went 4 for 4 if I would have made 4 hits instead of 3 hits. Man, kid, you're thinking all wrong. You got to be thinking, hey, 3 for 4, that's a great day. You can't make a hit every time out. But if you get hit 3 out of 4 times, that's really good. 2 out of 4 times is good. But you did 3 out of 4 times. Most kids go 3 for 4, they're going to be walking on air after the game. That kid that goes 3 for 4 and he's moping because he didn't go 4 for 4, you're thinking, man, something's wrong with that kid. Something is wrong with that kid. He's going to grow up depressed. Because that's the way he sees things.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. So, again, 3 things about depression. Number 1, biologically based brain disorder. Medicine helps, so go on and stay on medicine. Okay? Generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, okay, is coping with depression.
Okay.
So, see what this handout says?
Yeah, coping.
What's that say?
Coping with depression.
Yeah, see, it took the words right out of my mouth. So coping with depression means here's things I can do to cope with depression. So that's point number 2.
Okay.
And then point number 3, and we've talked about this since I've been coming, but today I'm going to talk about it in a little bit of a different context. Is this recovery? Can someone engage in recovery from depression all on their own?
Okay.
Well, that's a question. Can someone recover from depression by themselves?
To me, I don't know.
Don't know. Is that your final answer?
Well, my answer would be no, but I don't know. It's
Okay.
the best question I know you say.
All right.
To me, I say no, but
Okay. Well, the answer to that question is no. People do not recover from depression in isolation.
okay.
People don't do it on their own by themselves. So what do you have to do?
See a therapist, take medicine.
Well,
I don't know.
well, taking medicine, we talked about that. Seeing a therapist, well, that's something that you can do. Look, the third important point in managing depression is you got to let people help you. And I don't mean professional people. Oh, well, you have to let professional people help you. But aside from professional people, people recover from depression the best when they have the support of family and friends.
Okay.
Okay? And let me be clear what I mean by that, because this is yours too.
All right.
So these are two different strategies, but all three are equally important.
Okay.
One's not more important or less important than the other. All three need to be present. So why friends? Well, like I said, since day one, that's what I've been talking about. Social supports, healthy relationships versus unhealthy relationships. You got this relationship with Al. Yeah, it has its ups and downs. And again, I never tell you what to do. And I'm not saying you should continue a relationship with Al. I'm not saying you shouldn't continue a relationship with Al. I'm just here to try to help you better understand it. It's complicated. It has its pros. It has its cons. It has its positive aspects to it. Its negative aspects to it. I'm here just to help you understand them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can get everything that you can out of it and minimize the downside to it. Okay.
Yeah.
But because it is very odd and very unconventional and very frustrating, and usually people who recover from depression don't do it on the basis of one important relationship in life. Recovering from depression, managing depression is well hard. I mean, I have this other video, but it's really complicated. It's a neuroscientist who talks about how stress affects the brain and how that affects the body. So he does a series of half-hour lectures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And these half-hour lectures, so the half-hour lectures are all like lectures, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they're a little complicated. But they're all half-hour each, and he does like one different topic at a time. Well, he does a lecture on depression, but he does two of them, because he says, and do the first is, well, instead of just doing one lecture on depression, because it's so important, in my opinion, I'm going to do two lectures because, if there is one disease that exists on the planet, the one that I would most want to not have would be depression. And he goes on to lay out what depression is and how it affects people and why it's so difficult for people with depression. Okay? But he makes it real clear, and you'll see in the video, so does everybody else, in terms of the experts. You really need to have social supports.
Well, I did have one, but that's the one that's causing me pain now.
That's who?
Ow.
Okay, and that's what I mean. So having Elle as a friend, well, that's why I said, you really can't count on that to be your one support, because that relationship is it's unconventional.
Because when I was depressed about my kids, and then my twins, and then what my ex did to me, I was there for me as a support.
Okay.
And then now, I was the issue.
Okay. But here's the other big thing about friends as support. Okay? Because, believe me, you wouldn't be the only one, Elizabeth. Over the years, I've had this conversation with groups and individuals, pretty much ever since I started out in this field.
Yes.
Okay, so when I say friends as supports, and that article makes it pretty clear. Well, the article I gave you is how to 25 ways to build stronger friendships.
Yes.
Let me make something really clear. Okay, friends don't help you with your depression. They don't. Who helps you with your depression? Me, Emily, Holly, and Aubrey. We're professional people. You know, we were trained in helping people. We're trained in helping people with depression. You know, we're helping you, learn about and understand and manage your depression. And oh yeah, added to those 4 people, your doctor and, the nurse at Mercy.
Yes.
They're managing the medication part. Me, Aubrey, Holly, and Emily, we're helping you manage other aspects of your life that have a lot to do with your depression.
Yes.
What do friends do? Friends are not therapists, friends are not counselors, friends are not service coordinators, friends are not doctors, friends are not nurses, and you shouldn't treat them like any of those roles. So, when I would talk to folks, especially when I was running groups, I would say, well, how would you define a friend? And sometimes when I first started doing this, I didn't know what people were going to say. So that's why I would ask the question to see where people were at in their thinking. And when I first started asking that question, the early answers got me to keep asking that question as I work with more and more groups of people, different people. Because the answer I was getting, well, friends is someone who you can talk about with regarding your problems.
Yes.
A good friend is someone you can tell all your problems to. Okay, what else defines what a good friend is? I don't know. That's what's most important for me. Friends there when you have to talk about your problems. I want a friend who'll listen to me when I need to talk about my problems.
There to support you.
Yeah, support you, but what else?
I don't know. I don't have friends.
Exactly. But
Al's my only friend, so I don't know.
But listen, don't feel bad, because that was the answer that's what I learned early on. That was the answer that everybody was getting. Everyone said, well, you can tell someone's your friend because, what I need my friend to do is when I'm upset, when I'm having problems, I want to talk to them about my problems and have them listen and be supportive and give me advice and help me when I need it. That's what a friend is.
I think that's what I was trying to do with Al, but it didn't work.
And then when I say, well, what else are friends? Why else are friends important? People say, people would have the same reaction. I don't know. What are you talking about? What else is there? So, the thing about friends is, friends, don't confuse a friend with a professional support. They're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I wouldn't go to, get a haircut and tell the person cutting my hair, oh, by the way, since I'm in the chair, can you check out this tooth that's hurting me? Because I got my hairdresser, not a dentist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be silly?
Yeah.
Friends and therapists are the same way. Friends aren't therapists. Friends are friends. And the thing about friendships, and this is what I mean by you can't do this in isolation, is, what friends are really important for is, when you say support, yeah, friends are supported, but how are they supported?
Mm-hmm.
Friends are not, your substitute therapists. Friends aren't, your substitute service coordinators, or psych rehab workers, or vocational counselors. Friends are friends, and friends, when you say they're supportive means I can do fun things with my friends. I can do enjoyable things with my friends. I can get together with my friends and go, I get a cup of coffee, go to a movie, go shopping, play video games. It has nothing to do with helping me, but it has everything to do with spending quality time with me, Because if I'm doing something that's fun, well, for 2 hours or 3 hours that I'm having fun with this person, well, those are 3 hours. I could be sitting, if I wasn't my friend, I'd be sitting at home feeling what?
Sad and depressed.
Exactly. So for 2 or 3 hours, I hook up my friend, I do something fun, and that's 2 or 3 hours of fun versus 2 or 3 hours of feeling sad and depressed. That's how friends are supported. That's how families are supported. I mean, yeah, they can give you some sympathy and some empathy, you know, at certain times when that's what you need at certain times, but that's not the only thing that they're there for. And see, when you say, well, you know, Al's starting to become more of the problem, well, Al's Al. And you know, it's like what they say about Donald Trump. I mean, you know, this guy's no different now than he was 4 years ago. People need to stop being surprised. It is what it is. He's not going to grow into being a president. He had 4 years to do that. His behavior didn't change one bit. Same thing with Al. You know, his behavior really hasn't changed since the first time you met him. But what happened is you put a lot of, you were trying to get a lot more out of this relationship than Al is prepared to, or any friend would be prepared to give you. Okay, so that's why I brought that handout about friendship, because friends are important, but that handout is something for you to read and think about, you know, how to make the best use of friends. And of course, the big condition to that is, well, do you ever hear this phrase? Well, to have a friend, you have to be a friend.
Yeah.
Okay? So, you know, that article, I think, will give you a better idea of what the social contract, what the social understanding is between two people who are engaged in a healthy, positive friendship.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying this, and the reason why I brought that particular handout, is exactly what you said 5 minutes ago, which was I've never really had a good friend.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you've never really had a good friend, you know, I thought it would be helpful for you to have something to read that kind of talks about and describes, you know, like different ways of so what is a good friend, and how do you know if you have a good friend, and how do you know that you're being a good friend?
I mean, I have like a good friend on PlayStation, but not in real life.
That's what I mean.
That's different.
And that is different, and that's...
I mean, I wanted to do real things with Beast Pro and Al, but they didn't. Al didn't want to do it, but Beast Pro said he would. But I didn't want to disrespect Al by doing it, so I never went down there. I could have, but I never did. You know, but I don't know, Beast Pro and me, we don't get along anymore, so I don't know. But I want to ask you a different question.
Okay.
So with somebody like me with depression and anxiety, being sad and depressed and all this other stuff, how do I cope with that?
Sorry, I think we just real fast.
Oh no, you're good.
All right, say that again? Sorry.
Oh, no, that's good. With me, like someone like me with depression and anxiety, how does someone cope with that?
How does someone cope with anxiety?
And
With
depression.
depression? Well, I gave you the article on
Coping with depression.
coping with depression.
But how do you cope with anxiety as well?
Well, let's do one at a time. They're two different things. Okay, they're two different... Look, I don't want to confuse them. Okay, so I thought...
Because I have both of them, I just want to learn both of them.
Well, and I'm not saying I'm not holding out on you on the anxiety part, but focus on one at a time because they're two different things.
Okay.
Depression and anxiety are not the same thing, and the strategies for managing depression and anxiety are not the same thing.
Nice.
Okay, so what we can do today is talk about what the depression is, and then I'll be able to come back on Wednesday to talk about anxiety.
Okay.
Okay, because they're two different things. Okay, so And real fast, here's why they're different. So, depression is a problem of spending too much time in the past,
Yeah.
in your head. Okay? Anxiety is spending too much time in your head in the future.
Okay.
Depression is feeling bad about what already happened. Anxiety is fear about what might happen.
Okay.
Okay? So those are two different problems. Okay? And dealing with depression, there's one set of strategies, and then dealing with anxiety is going to be a different set of strategies. Not that they're opposite from each other, or they're going to conflict with each other, and it's not that I can do one, but I can focus on depression, but that means I have to ignore the anxiety. Or if I focus on the anxiety, I ignore the depression. You know, we can come up with strategies for managing both at the same time, but understanding they're two different problems that require two different solutions.
Okay.
I mean, if my car needs an oil change, but I can't get to the oil change place because my tire is flat, I got to fix one, and I can't do both at the same time.
Yep.
I got to fix the flat tire, and then I got to take my car to get the oil changed. Okay.
Yep.
So depression is and this is where the grief, is probably going to be more helpful with the depression, because depression is and grief is about getting over things that you don't have anymore, things that you've lost. Okay, so when Holly says, well, maybe grief is about Al, grief in the sense of, well, this relationship you had with Al or thought you had with Al, when you realize you don't have that relationship, well, it feels like you lost something. And grief and depression and loss, go hand in hand. Okay. Anxiety is, as this one researcher, this one expert put it, anxiety is when is seeing fear that other people don't see.
Okay.
Meaning worrying about things that most people wouldn't be worried about, that most people wouldn't be preoccupied with. Okay? That most people would pay some attention to, but then be able to just, I'll think about this some other time. The people with anxiety find that that's not easy. So the problem with when people have, a mood disorder, mixed anxiety and depression, the problem is, if you're not depressed, you're anxious. And if you're not anxious, you're depressed. Kind of like a ping pong ball, you bounce back and forth between depression and feeling gloomy about what happened, and then you get off of that and only jump into anxiety, where now I'm going to worry about things that haven't happened yet.
Okay.
And
can both of them go away, or that will always do it?
Well, it's like diabetes. Does diabetes go away?
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't go away. But if you take the right kind of medicine, if you have the right kind of diet, if you get enough exercise, you're always going to have diabetes, but now you're managing it.
Okay.
It's in control. So it's not that your depression is going to go away, or that your anxiety is going to go away, but you develop strategies so you can manage it, so that it doesn't affect your life as bad as it might otherwise. If someone has diabetes but there's nothing to control it, what's going to happen?
They could die from it.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of problems. I mean, people with unchecked, untreated diabetes. You can lose limbs
yeah.
from it. You can lose your eyesight from it. You can develop heart problems as a result of it. Your blood pressure can get really bad. I mean, if you don't treat your
Yeah, I know a lot of diabetes.
Yeah.
I learned it because my ex had it.
Okay, yeah, so if you don't treat it, bad things are going to happen, no doubt about it. But if you treat it, you still have it, but you're going to really minimize the chances of those terrible things happening.
You're not supposed to drink either, but
Well, but with diabetes, there's a lot of different things you can do
yeah.
to help. Okay, it's not like, well, you have to do one thing. There's lots of different things you can do, and the more of those things you do, the more effective it's going to be managed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, well, I'm taking my medicine, that's all I have to do. Well, no, you got to watch what you eat. Okay, I'm going to watch what I eat, but that's all I have to do. Well, no, you really shouldn't smoke. All right, I quit smoking, that's all I have to do. Well, you really shouldn't drink. Oh, come on, man. All right, I'm not going to drink. I'm just going to sit around the house all day. Well, no, you really got to exercise too. Oh, man, look at all the stuff I got to do. Yeah, but if you do all those things, your diabetes, your blood sugar level is going to fall to a point where you're totally out of danger. If you if your blood level, if your sugar level, remains like under a certain score, that A1C score, your diabetes is not going to hurt you. It's under control. But yeah, the more you do, the lower that number gets to where it's closer and closer and closer to what a person without diabetes has, which means all those things that could go wrong, now they probably won't.
Okay.
So managing depression, managing anxiety, same thing. The more you do to manage them, the less it's going to, the less severe of an impact it's going to have.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Sucks having depression.
Well, here's the thing. Again, this guy's the leading expert on brain science, and he made the statement, and I've heard him make the statement in other lectures he gives. He talks about all kinds of different diseases. He talks about this disease that, only cannibals get. If you eat, human flesh that, got spoiled. He talks about what that is. And then he talks about these other exotic, illnesses, because, he has a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
But then he gets real serious and he said, but seriously though, if there was one disorder, one illness that I would least want to get, it's depression. And he made the point, he made an interesting point in this talk. And when I first heard it, it really put it in perspective for me in terms of how bad depression is. Because he goes, again, he's a neuroscientist, a neurosurgeon, so he's a medical doctor. He says, not everybody, but a lot of people, when they get a diagnosis of like cancer, and you got 6 months to live. Okay. He says, not everybody, but a lot of these people, it's been well documented. They will say, well, it's not like I'm happy I got cancer. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wish I didn't have cancer. But ever since that doctor told me I got cancer and maybe like 6 to 12 months to live, you know what? All of a sudden, I really appreciate my friends. I've never noticed how good my favorite foods taste. I never noticed how great a sunset looks or how great a sunrise looks. Music that I've listened to for years, all of a sudden sounds so much better. All of a sudden when you only got so much time left, you start to appreciate even more the things that you took for granted.
Yeah.
He said, see, people get these kind of illness and disease, and all of a sudden, their appreciation of life goes up. The problem with depression is you get the opposite. People with depression complains about, I'm not interested in talking to family and friends. The things I used to do that were fun, they're not fun anymore. Food, it all tastes the same. I really don't have a favorite meal anymore because food just, I don't know, it's just all bland to me now. So people with depression, their love of life just goes downhill.
Now, does depression make you feel lonely?
So, what depression does is has this very negative feedback loop. Okay, so the feedback loop is when people are depressed, first thing, one of the big indicators of depression is people start to isolate. When I was working when I would work as a therapist, and I was working with people with depression, it never failed, people wouldn't cancel appointments when they were feeling good. People would cancel appointments when they were feeling bad.
Yeah.
How come you didn't come in last week? Well, I was feeling really depressed. That's when you're supposed to come in. So how you feeling today? Oh, I'm feeling great today. That's why I came in. I'm feeling good, so I came in. So you got to learn to look at it the opposite way. When you're feeling depressed, that's when you need to come in. So the vicious cycle is, when a person is depressed, then they don't feel like interacting with people. They just want to be alone. Well, what happens when you're alone?
You're lonely.
Exactly. But why are you alone? But why are you lonely?
Because you're depressed.
Because I'm alone. And why are you alone? Because I don't feel like seeing people. Why don't you feel like seeing people? Because I'm depressed. So that's what I mean. It's a vicious feedback loop. You take yourself away from people, so you're alone, and then you feel lonely. But to feel less lonely, you have to be around people. But I don't feel like being around people, so you're alone. And being alone makes you feel lonely. See, you paint yourself into a corner you can't get out of. So that's why I brought that article about friends, because friends isn't about, oh, I need a friend to call so I can just, tell them how terrible I'm feeling. Because, you have to understand the flip side of that. Meaning, what's that like for the friend on the other side of that conversation?
Probably difficult.
Exactly. So if every time the depressed person calls to a friend to talk about how depressed they are, and it's difficult each and every time for that friend to have to listen to how depressed they are, what's that friend going to eventually do?
Stop being your friend.
Well, they're not going to stop being your friend. Okay?
They'll stop taking the phone calls.
Exactly. Which is not the same thing.
Okay.
Because when someone stops being your friend, that kind of means they don't like you anymore. But they stop taking your phone calls, not because they don't like you anymore, not because they don't want to be friends anymore.
They're just tired of hearing it.
Well, they're tired of hearing it. What makes them so tired?
Keep saying the same thing over and over.
And
Complaining.
And here's what I mean.
And don't care to ask them anything about them.
Well,
Or am I wrong? I don't know.
Well, this
like I said, I don't have friends. I only got one friend on PlayStation, and I barely have them anymore.
All right, so let me educate you.
Okay.
Okay. And again, this isn't what I think. This is also from a lot of people I talk to. Not only professionally, but people just in my personal life too. So I have a friend, and they're depressed. They suffer from depression, and every time they call me, okay, it's, George, can you talk to me? I'm feeling really depressed. Oh man, so what's going on? And then they talk about how depressed they are. Okay? And it's like, oh well, man, hey man, hope you hang in there, hope you feel better. Hey, if you need anything, let me know. And then you hang up. And then, a couple days later, it's the same conversation. A couple days later, it's the same conversation. So me, I'm a professional. Okay? And that's why I said, Holly and Aubrey and Emily and me, we're professionals. We're trained on how to talk to people who have depression and kind of help them and support them through it. But friends, they're not trained. So what happens for friends isn't they stop being a friend in the sense of, oh, I don't care about you anymore. What happens on the friendship side is they don't know how to react. They don't know how to respond. They don't know what they're supposed to say. They don't know what they're supposed to do. So it gets kind of nerve-wracking for them. This person's, every time this person calls, they're always depressed, they're always, upset about something. And then I listen to them, but I don't know what to say. And then I get like, oh, should I be doing something? Should I be saying something else? Should I be doing something different? I mean, I get really stressed out because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So what do? They stop taking the calls. Not because they don't care, not because I'm not going to be friends with this person anymore, but they stop taking the calls because they just don't know what to do. Okay? And those calls get increasingly stressful the more it dawns on them. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help this person. This person wants me to help them. I mean, they're calling me, telling them how they feel, and then they wait for me to say something, and it's getting harder and harder for me to know what to say. I mean, I say the same thing over and over again, but that doesn't seem to help because they're not getting any better from it. Nothing seems to change from what I say. So I guess I'm supposed to be saying something different, but I don't know what that is. And so I have people complain to me You know, in terms of, I got this friend and they're always depressed, and George, here's what I did, here's what I said, I don't know what else to say, I get really frustrated. So what are you doing now? I just don't take their calls. How come? I just get too stressed out. Because I want to help. I want to be helpful. I really do, but I just don't know what to say. And then every time I hang up the phone, I start thinking, man, you know, I failed them. They turned to me for help, and I did. There wasn't anything I knew what to do.
Yeah.
So that's what happens on the friendship side. When you lean on them for things, and that's why I always tell people, look, if you need therapy, talk to your therapist. If you need, you know, some kind of, you know, learning about things, you know, call me, the psych rehab person. You know, if you're, you know, worried about, you know, needing resources, that's what, you know, your service coordinator can do. These are the people that can help. You know, your depression is getting worse instead of better. You know, call the doctor, talk to the doctor or the nurse about the medicines, adjusting the medicines. You know, maybe it needs to be increased, maybe it needs to be changed, maybe something needs to be, maybe you need a reevaluation. But when it comes to friends, this is your opportunity to get away from all that professional stuff and just focus on what can make my life better. You know, so, you know, quality of life stuff. You know, talk to them on the phone, but not about, you know, your depression. Talk about your video games or wrestling or something that you, some really cool movie you watched on TV last night. You just wanted to talk about the movie that you saw. Or maybe, you know, your friend called you, hey, what's going on? Oh, what's going on with your, you know, mom? How's your mom doing? She's still doing okay? Oh, how are your kids doing in school? I mean, you find things to talk about to take your mind off of your problems. Not pick up the phone to call people to keep your mind on your problems.
Well, can I say something?
Okay.
All right. Well, since I don't play with our Beast Pro anymore, but I mean, I will, but they just don't play with me right now. But I've been playing with L2 and then ASAP. Well, his name is LMAO with long letters. It's laughing my ass off and something. Okay. But I call him L2 for short. And then ASAP, well, they're like both of them, they seem like they're getting mad at me all the time. Because I sit there and I be sad and depressed. And I'm always constantly talking about how I miss Al, how I used to do things with him. And when I listen to music or play wrestling, it keeps reminding me of him. Then I lose interest in it. But then also, like, I try to talk to him about other things too. But it's constantly Al. And I don't know how to stop it. But it's just like everything that I do, I tell him. But see, with L2, you know, he's like, well, you know, I get what you're saying because I've been with you as a friend for 3 years, and I know what's going on because you've always told me the truth about what's going on with you. And I've always helped you and try to help you and stuff and give you advice what to do. But he's like, well, you know, it just gets really kind of annoying when you keep talking about Al this and Al that. And, you know, and what you're saying too. But I mean, and I told him I don't mean to, but I can't get him out of my head.
Well,
but we talk about, but me and L2, we talk about GTA, and then we talk about stupid Donald Trump. Oh, you should have seen, I made a video about Donald Trump. These two dudes on GTA, they were talking about they were military. They were supposed to be sergeants. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe them because, you know, people like to make shit up on a game.
Right.
So I didn't believe them. So I was talking hella smack on them, and I was talking major shit about Donald Trump. I said, it's amazing that no one put a bullet in Donald Trump's head. Now, is that appropriate to say? I don't care. Hey, YouTube didn't ban me. They allowed the video to go through. Because they watch and listen to your video before they broadcast it. Before they let it upload. Everything I said bad about Donald Trump, it was on there. They allowed it.
All right.
But then ASAP, he just don't want to be bothered with me anymore because he's tired of hearing me talk about this guy. So, I don't know.
Well, and that's exactly the point.
And I don't mean to, and I told him that.
But again, it doesn't mean, whether you mean to or not, it doesn't change the effect that has on people. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I was saying. I mean, you know, you can wear, that's why I used to, you know, when I would run classes, I mean, I would have whole talks about this, you wear, and the point that I would always make is you wear your friends out like that. And then you get this, you know, well, I want to talk to you about it. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm getting tired of this. You're just repeating yourself over and over again. Because again, these aren't professionals. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not trained therapists. I mean, they're going on PlayStation to have fun, not to listen to someone's problems. Okay?
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, they're willing to listen to a point, and it sounds like early on they were.
Well, not ASAP, but L2 was.
Yeah, but even L2 got tired of it. And not because he stops caring, but it's like...
No,
I
he
don't know.
still talks to me. He'll still play with me. It's just that he told me I have to kind of not talk too much about Al.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So and that's what I mean. You know, so it's not like these people stop being friends
tries to
as much
distract
as
me.
exactly. And see,
He'll change the
he's
subject.
doing the right thing.
L2 will change the subject.
Right.
ASAP, he just wants to be an ignorant person to me about it.
Okay. But the other guy who's changing the subject, see, he's got the right instinct.
He's trying to distract me from a different thing.
Right.
He'll start talking about GTA, or he'll start talking about the things that he does with his family,
Right.
or
And-
something, and get me off of it.
Right. But instead of him doing that, you know, what's important for you to start understanding is that's exactly how support from your friends is supposed to work. Exactly what he's trying to redirect you into doing is the strategy that you have to carry into these friendships. I'm not going to talk to him about, you know, what I'm depressed about. I'm not going to talk about, you know, people who let me down. I'm not going to talk about terrible things that happen. I'm going to talk about exactly what he's telling me to. He's exactly right. Talk about, you know, pleasant things, interesting things, things that we, you know, share in common, funny things, stuff that makes us laugh. See, that's what friends are for.
Yeah.
If you're upset about that, look, I come over twice a week. Emily comes over. Holly comes over. Aubrey comes over. You know, you got to try to think in terms of I got to save those specific conversations for any of those 4 people.
I don't mean to talk about it to people.
Well, but you do.
Yeah, I do it, but I don't mean to.
Well, but
It's just that I'm really sad, like when I'm crying and when I'm like really hurt and I can't get him out of my head. I talk to L2. I talk to him because I know him longer.
but you know what? But see, this is very similar.
I treat L2 like he's a brother.
Okay, but the way you got to look at this is, look, if someone's diagnosed with diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
okay, type 2, which means it's adult onset diabetes.
Yeah, I know what type.
So they didn't grow up with it. All of a sudden, they're 40 years old now. They have diabetes. Okay, so the doctor says, "Well, you know, you gotta, you know, change your diet. You gotta start to exercise. You gotta really cut down, if not quit smoking. You really gotta cut down, if not quit drinking. And here's 3 or 4 other things." And you know, if the person says, "Well," and then so I'll see you again in 3 months. So, but I want you to get blood work done before you come back. I got to check your, you know, your A1C score.
Yeah.
Person comes back, and the doc says, "Well, your A1C score, you know, I was hoping for it to improve it. It not only did it stay the same, it's actually a little worse. What happened? I told you to do this, 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 and that." "Well, doc, you see, I wanted to, but it was really hard." "Well, how much progress did you make on it?" "Well, nothing. I wanted to, but it was really hard." And the doc's going to say what? "Well, you know, you got to try hard." I mean, you know, there's no easy solution here. You got to make changes, and telling me that it was hard isn't going to change your A1C score.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say, "Well, I can't help it," it's like, well, you got to look at this like it's a habit. You know, the habit is getting on with these people and, "Oh, here's what I'm upset about. I'm going to talk to you about it now because I have your ear. And I'm going to talk to you about it." And this is where, you know, you got to put in the work.
I asked L2 if I ever make him upset when I talk about Al. Do I annoy you guys when I talk about Al?
We're professionals.
But no, honestly, do I annoy you? Your real opinion.
My real opinion is this. I could see how this could be very annoying to other people.
What about you?
No. I mean, this is what I do. You know,
Oh,
this
okay.
is the, just like in Godfather 2, this is the business I chose.
Okay.
If this kind of conversation between you and me were to annoy me, I would have been in this field for 30 plus years.
No, all right.
I mean, I would have bailed out a long time. I can't.
I know I keep saying the same thing over and over, and you keep telling me the same thing over and over again, and nothing changes, but I just can't stop talking about it.
I know. And that's okay because that's what I'm here for. And it's also okay with me in particular because I'm very patient. And very patient in the sense of when you say, well, nothing ever changes, I actually think things are changing. Are things dramatically changing? No. But this isn't about, but this isn't the kind of thing that changes overnight.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the kind of thing that there are going to be dramatic changes. That's why Emily will tell you, when I was training all those new psych rehab counselors, when Emily joined, I said, look, here's the most important quality, personal quality you have to be successful working in psych rehab, because we work with people for a long time, is you have to be patient. You have to just be very patient with people. Because the kind of changes you're trying to make are not easy ones. The kind of changes you're trying to make are very hard ones. And the kind of changes that take time. And that's why, when Elise, your mobile therapist, well, I was only supposed to allow to work with you for 6 months, and it's been 12, and my supervisor screamed at me for how long I've been working.
Oh no, she worked with me longer than 12 months.
I know she did.
She overlapped it.
Right. That was, but I remember when I met with you and her, and she kept saying, well, remember when I first met with you, Elizabeth, I said, I'm only supposed to work with you 3 to 6 months, and then we made it 9 months, then we made it 12 months, and now it's past 12 months. That's why I got George here and his program, because I definitely have to stop seeing you because it's been way too long already.
Yeah, and plus she was getting too, I don't know how you say it. She was like getting too attached or emotional towards me.
Well,
like she was getting bonded with me.
Well, but that's different. That's a completely separate issue. What I'm talking about is, in that mobile therapy line of work, it's supposed to be 3 to 6 months, and then you can go 9 months. I mean, I should do mobile therapy like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I used to work with people for up to a year, but after 6 months, you really have to justify to the insurance company why you need another 3 months. And after 9 months, you have to double, justify why you need another 3 months to go from 9 to 12. And then in 12 months, it's like, you know what, you're fired, you're just taking way too long. But in psych rehab, we can work with people for a year and a half, 2 years. We can work with people for 3 years, as long as it makes sense. We're able to continue. So because we can work with people, because, like I always say, we get that amount of time to work with people, because what we're really trying to do with people takes that long. And the people that pay us to work with people understand that.
Okay.
Therapy is very different from rehab. Skill training is very different from therapy. You learn coping skills and that. And then look, if you still need to see a therapist, well, you have to go down to Mercy and see one there. Okay. But as far as this program, we can see people and we have seen people already for, well, not 2 years yet. We haven't been around for 2 years, but I've been doing psych rehab for a long time, and I've had people receiving psych rehab services for 3, 4, 5 years. Why? Because when we tell the insurance company, here's what we're doing, they say, yeah, makes sense. All right, here's another 6 months.
Well, I'm getting a different therapist. Emily and Aubrey and I met last week, and Emily's been telling Aubrey what happened with me and stuff, and then I also told her. So, and I don't feel that Holly's helping me the way I need help. So, what they're going to do is they're trying to get me a therapist that works on with my problems, that does more like depression. They don't think I need a grief therapist. They think I need more of a depression and anxiety therapist.
Well,
to help me, because they don't think the grief is working.
Well, and you know what? I'm going to stick up for Holly on this. I don't know Holly. I've never met
Holly.
No. But no. I want to make a serious point about that.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Because when I talk about, well, I think I need a different therapist, I don't think Holly's the right person, I think I need to focus on this instead of that. Again, there's three big parts to managing a mood disorder.
Okay.
Okay? It's a biologically based brain disorder. Depression is, anxiety is, you need the medication. Okay? And then you need to do things to take care of yourself. Okay? And then you need to use friends, but use friends in the right way. Okay? So, if you're not doing the things that this article talks about, coping with depression, okay?
Yeah. I wouldn't
Do things that make you feel good. Do things you enjoy. Support your health. Get moving, as in exercise. Eat a healthy depression-fighting diet. Okay? Challenge negative thinking. See, all these things are things you can look at. The last thing it says.
On what? On 5?
Page 9, all the way at the end. Look at the last thing it gets to.
When to get professional help for depression.
Right. That's the last thing that gets mentioned. Before that, the other 8 pages, these are things that a person can do on their own.
See, I didn't know none of this stuff.
That's why I brought it. So when you say, well, Holly's not helping me, it's like, wait a minute now.
She's not telling me nothing like I want her to tell me.
Well, okay, but
I asked her how to deal with depression, how to deal with all this stuff.
okay, but see, that's why I brought you this. Because what you're going to find out is it's far less. It's like this. My dad was a piano teacher
Okay.
for years and years. Well, for a while now. He literally. My dad died. He passed away about 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, I think. He was like 80, I think 80 years old, 80 or 81.
Okay.
He literally was given piano lessons in the house, literally almost up to the day he died.
Damn.
Okay, because he was given piano lessons, and then all of a sudden he wasn't feeling good. Called the doctor, said, "Oh, I think you better go to the emergency room." Went to the emergency room. They admitted him, and then like 2 days later, he passed away.
Sorry for your loss.
I appreciate that. But the point is, he taught piano for like 80 years, started when he was like 25, giving lessons, 55 years. He taught piano. Gave kids piano lessons. And what he always told kids was, you know what? Because, it's hard to teach adults how to play an instrument.
Yeah.
It's too late. So he always wanted just kids, his clients, his students. Anyways.
Because they can learn faster.
Yes. And they can learn better.
Yes.
And adults, and I saw this, because every once in a while, as a favor, he would take an adult, and adults would quit. You know why? They always had the same complaint. I thought I was going to learn how to play a lot faster than this is taking.
It takes time for that.
It takes a lot of time. Kids.
I don't know too much about it, but I know it takes a lot of time to learn that.
So someone who's never touched a piano in their life, comes in for piano lessons, and they're frustrated because after 2 months of piano lessons, they don't know how to, sit down at home and entertain their friends playing one song after another. It's like, no, man, you're like 2 years away from that. What? You said I didn't know it was going to take that long. At least that long? But to those adults and to the kids, you always said the same thing. He says, you're not going to get better just by coming here and having me listen to you play.
Yeah.
And then telling you what to play next. You're going to get better from what you do when you're not here.
Yeah.
What you do in terms of practicing and what you can do to get yourself better. I'm just listening to you. I'm just telling you here. Start with this easy piece. Then I'm going to show you this little slightly harder piece to play. And I'm going to show you after that something slightly harder. So he knew how to, ramp people up in terms of the degree of difficulty of the music he was asking them to learn.
Yeah.
But my dad would always say, I can tell whether or not you practiced last week.
Okay.
Because sometimes, look, you're playing this piece worse than what you did last week. You didn't practice last week, did you?
So you should know a little bit better.
You should be able to play it better this week than you did last week.
Yeah.
You didn't practice last week. Well, you know, Mr. Corona, I had a lot of homework and I wanted to go out with my friends and it was really hard for me. And then I was really tired. I didn't feel like practicing. My dad says, well, you can have all the reading in the world. I'm just saying, you're worse this week than you were last week.
Yep.
So when you say, well, Holly's not helping me, well, meeting with Holly may not be effective if that's all you're doing. Going to see my dad every week for piano lessons, and if that's all you did, you're never going to get any better. You're just not going to get better.
Well, see, look, I know, okay, with, like you said with Elise. Okay, remember Elise? All right, well, at least with Elise, she would sit there and know, like when I'm sad and depressed, or I don't want to talk about something, she would push the issue. She would keep on pushing me until I open up. And, you know, and she always tells me, look, I'm not leaving until you tell me what's wrong.
Yeah, and don't get
But
me...
Holly don't do that stuff. Like, she doesn't care. She don't care to ask. She wants me to explain to her everything. I told her the stuff that
How long have you been working with her?
for a couple months now, not much.
How long were you working with Elise before she started pushing you?
It took me at least like 6 months to start opening up to her.
Right. And it's been 2 months with Holly.
Well, maybe more than 2 months, because we get phone calls. Like 3 months, maybe?
Maybe. So you're only at the halfway mark of what it took to get to that level with Elise. Now again...
But Lisa always did ask me in the beginning,
Okay.
everything, but I just wouldn't tell her.
All right, but don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, how dare you, want to quit with Holly. She's like, I know Holly, and she's the greatest therapist in the world. You're making a big mistake. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying instead is, Holly is just one piece of a much bigger strategy that you have to, start to incorporate in your life. So Holly's, like it says, I mean, this is a 9-page article in the first 8 pages. These are all things you can do to help with your depression.
Yeah, I tried to look up on the internet, but they give me some weird shit.
Right.
So that's why I asked you about it.
Yeah, so look, coping with depression, tip number 1, reach out and stay connected. What does that mean? Build new friendships, improve your support network. Well, Holly's not going to do that.
No.
You need to do that. Or it would be in your best interest to do that.
Yeah.
Look for support for people you feel safe and cared for. Make FaceTime a priority. Try to keep up with social activities even if you don't feel like it. Find ways to support others. Care for a pet.
That's what I want.
Join a support group. So these are all things, and this is just the first 3 pages, but these are all things you could do. Okay, 10 tips for staying connected.
Call or email a friend, go for a walk, or work out with a buddy, schedule a weekly dinner date, meet new people by taking a class or joining a club, confide in a...
Confide, that means, share your personal information with a clergy member.
What's clergy?
Like a priest.
Oh, okay. Member, teacher, or support coach.
Sports coach.
Yes.
Kids might be doing this. So might be, a kid might want to reach out to a teacher in school, or a kid on the baseball team might want to talk to, one of the assistant coaches. Okay. Yeah. And then tip number 2, do things that make you feel good. Do things that you pick up a hobby or a sport that you like to do. Okay? Support your health. Aim for 8 hours of sleep. Keep stress in check. Practice relaxation techniques. Develop a wellness toolbox, which includes what? Spend some time in nature. List what you like about yourself. Read a good book. Watch a funny movie or TV show. Take a long hot bath. Take care of a few small tasks. Play with a pet. Talk to friends or family face to face. Listen to music. Do something spontaneous. Spontaneous means I just out of the blue want you to go up and do something. Now, of course, with COVID on top of winter, a lot of those things are going to be limited. But the point here, you can see is, wow, if I did this, I'd be pretty busy. Bingo.
Yeah, I didn't know this stuff. I mean, I was doing the music. And then out, that was a distraction, but
Okay, so that's tip number 3. Oh, tip number 3, get moving. Exercise is something you can do right now to boost your mood. So I have this video. This guy's talking about, the 5 top hits of positive psychology in terms of being depression busters. And he shows an interview with the psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist said, if there was only one thing if I was limited to just recommending one thing and one thing only,
yeah.
people with depression, even before I would recommend medicine, I would recommend this, and that would be exercise. Exercise is the best antidepressant on the planet.
Okay. You mean like motivate? Like, it will motivate you to do things, right? Exercise and stuff?
When people exercise, remember I said depression is a biologically based brain disorder.
Yeah.
And biologically based brain disorder means the brain isn't working right. Well, what do you mean the brain isn't working right? Well, people without depression, like when they do something fun, how does someone know something's fun? Because it feels pleasurable.
Yeah.
What does feel pleasurable means? Well, how do you experience this feeling of pleasurable? It's not a thought, it's a feeling. Well, pleasure is the result of something being in your brain. We saw this on the video with that kid that got adopted. We talked about oxytocin.
Yeah, oxytocin, yeah.
That neurotransmitter that makes you feel, that gives you that positive feeling when you're in the presence of others that love you, and vice versa. Well, there's another neurotransmitter like oxytocin, but it's called endorphins. Endorphins is what makes you feel pleasure when you're doing something. Endorphins is what allows you to interpret certain things as pleasurable.
Okay.
If I'm listening to music I like, that releases endorphins. Okay? Since I'm listening to music, and if my brain releases endorphins, that tells me I really like this music.
Yes.
So, I was meeting with one of the other consumers. He lives in a group home.
Okay.
Okay. So, and they all have their own rooms, which is nice. They all have their own private bedroom. So, I go up and see him. And in his room, he has his little stereo, little boom box. And he listens to, yikes, I gotta leave soon. He listens to classical music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Anything wrong with that?
No.
Why does he like classical music? Well, here's the technical definition, because when he listens to classical music, it releases endorphins in his brain that tells him, I'm listening to something that to me is pleasurable.
Yeah.
Okay? He hates the guy next door. Why does he hate the guy next door? Well, he listens to his own music. Oh yeah, what's he listening to?
Do you want me just to sign and you can just fill out the thing later?
No, I gotta do it all at the same time. But anyways.
Oh, okay. I don't know, I'm just trying to save you time.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. But anyways, his friend, or not friend, the guy in the next room, he can't stand him. He listens to music too.
Uh-huh.
Except he listens to rap music. Rap music, classical music, two very different types of music. I mean, night and day difference. I mean, I don't listen to rap music because I just don't enjoy it. I mean, it doesn't do anything for me, right? Do it means if I happen to hear rap music, it's just not releasing any endorphins in my brain. My brain doesn't register for me that this is something that I find pleasurable. So I don't listen to it. I keep switching the radio to, my brain's releasing endorphins, I must like this type of music. That's really how it works.
Yeah.
Okay? Exercise releases endorphins. Exercise, for whoever, releases those endorphins that tells you, I feel pleasurable, I feel content, I feel happy, I feel positive, so on and so forth.
Yes.
Okay? So when you're given antidepressants, what it's really doing is trying to, kind of jumpstart your brain to be able to release endorphins at the right time.
Okay.
Okay? That's what the Prozac does. People with depression, those endorphins kind of get blocked. So, when they get released, they don't get to the part of the brain where they're supposed to go.
Okay.
And Prozac and antidepressants, through different strategies in terms of how the medicine works in your brain. I'm oversimplifying this to a fair extent, but just to illustrate the point, what are medicines doing? And that's what medicines are really trying to do, get those endorphins to where they're supposed to go in the brain so you can start to feel pleasure again.
Okay.
And when I said depression, people lose pleasure in things.
Yeah.
The Prozac, another kind of antidepressant, it allows you to feel pleasure. Why? Because it releases those endorphins that what's causing the depression tends to block.
Okay.
So exercise releases a lot of endorphins.
So, okay, now this is going to be an odd question, but I just want to know if this possibly could be it. Do you think that's how I see Al?
What do you mean? More specific.
Like with the endorphins, or what do you call it?
Yeah, I think when you talk to Al, yeah, I mean, he aids in those kind of endorphins being released because, and we've talked about the ups and downs.
Because when I talk to other people, I don't have that.
Right, and when we've talked about what you get from Al. Al treats you nice, he treats you fair, he cares about you, he shows interest in you. That's something that not too many people in your lifetime have done for you. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, I remember I saw this, I can't remember where I saw it. I think I just saw it on TV. Like watching the news, like when you do this light moment on the news.
Yeah.
So a parent said in a video showing, this is the first time my kid ever tasted ice cream. So it's like a little baby. And, so the mom holds this ice cream cone up to this baby's mouth, and the baby tastes it, and all of a sudden, this baby's eyes just get real big, and I tried to grab the ice cream and just want to shove it down its mouth. It was like so good to this kid. It never had ice cream before.
Yeah.
And it was like, whatever flavor it was, that's the one the kid likes. I mean, this kid just went crazy for it. So what's going on? The first taste of that ice cream, boom, all these endorphins start flooding this kid's brain. It's like, oh, this is good. This is good. And he just, this kid just like grabbed it, just drew it closer to his face and, couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
That's what Al's like to you. He releases all these endorphins because he makes you feel so good about yourself. Just raises your self-esteem, helps you feel confident about yourself, helps you feel good about yourself, all that kind of stuff.
And now he's not here anymore.
And
everything's going down.
There's something missing, of course. Naturally.
And I don't think I can find another person like Al.
What's that?
I don't think I could find another person like that.
Well, see, that's a very dangerous thing to tell yourself because, what you think. Remember what I told you? Don't believe everything you think.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you think like that. Because when you say, I'll never find, you're putting all your eggs in the L basket. Remember I said that last week?
I know.
And, and that what makes, so that what makes him more valuable, but at the same time, that what makes, potentially losing him so devastating. Because what you're setting yourself up for is this false belief that this guy's my only chance at happiness, and if I lose him, that's it. It's over. It's over for me.
Yeah, that's how pretty much I think, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a terrible position to put yourself in.
And I don't want to feel that way, and that's how I'm feeling.
Right, but you have to understand what you're doing to create that, and what you're doing to create that is something that,
So I try to plead and beg him to come back to me. That I don't do to anyone.
right, and the thing is, you're acting in a desperate way that, at the end of the day, doesn't work, and and that just feeds both your anxiety because you're afraid what's going to happen if he never comes back, and it feeds your depression in terms of now what I had, I don't have anymore, and that's where Holly's coming from with the stages of grief thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but the problem with the stages of grief is, that's not addressing. I mean, that addresses one problem, but in my kind of mind, and I bet Holly would agree, not the bigger problem. And the bigger problem is you can't put all your support, like I said, you can't put all your support eggs in the L basket. Because that's the whole thing about friends. Friends has to be plural. There has to be more than one person that you're gonna, kind of depend on.
Yeah. I don't know, I think that's probably why I don't want to be around me.
Well,
I think he sees I depend on him too much.
I was going to say, I mean, at some point,
Maybe this is a lesson that he's trying to teach.
well, I don't think he's trying to teach you a lesson.
What is it?
Well, look, teaching you a lesson means he's trying to do something that's in your best interest, okay? And the thing is, he's not doing something in your best interest, he's doing something in his own best interest. And his own best interest is like this other friend, he's just getting tired, he's just getting overwhelmed, he's just getting worn out. So it's not like, oh, this is all calculated to, at the end of the day, help you. He's just, and therefore, he's just really, he's just really finding a way to help you by teaching you a lesson. No, he's just taking care of himself.
So by me always telling Al things about him and me, I'm pushing him away.
You're wearing him out, and the result of that is, he's going to start drifting away because, again, me, Holly, Aubrey, Emily, we're professionals. This is what we do. Al is just some guy who lives in Puerto Rico, his security guard, and he likes to be on PlayStation, and he likes, he likes receiving attention from friends, but he's not a professional counselor. This is not what he's in it for. And at some point,
And he doesn't ask me anything, I just tell him.
Right. And that's interesting. He doesn't ask you anything. What does that tell you? He's not curious about anything.
Well, he asks like what. Well, no, when he starts talking on the mic, he would ask me like things I get into. Okay?
Yeah.
Like movies.
He wants to have normal conversations. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what you use friends for. Normal conversations, engaging in fun activities together. Him, like your other friend said, you figured out about your other friend, he's just trying to distract you. That's what friends are for.
Okay. I'm starting to think that I did kind of push Al away. Alright, so how's it a good way to ask someone if I'm pushing them away?
What's that?
Like, if I want to know the answer, because he won't tell me why he don't want to be around me. Maybe he just don't want to tell me. But what if I would ask him? Like, what if I would ask him, by the things I say to you, am I pushing you away? Would that be okay to say to him? Or that's inappropriate? I just can't wrap it around. I want to know why he doesn't want to be my friend.
The problem is, I don't think Elle is the type of person who can really very well explain that. So I think asking him to explain something that he's not going to be good at explaining is going to make him uncomfortable. And I think that's why when you ask him stuff like that in the past, he just shuts down. He doesn't know what to say, and guys can be like that. He'll just shut down. You know, because you're asking me questions that I don't have answers to, and when I'm asked questions I don't have answers to, it makes me uncomfortable and I shut down. It's like, you know, when you're sitting in grade school and the teacher says, "Oh, when was the War of 1812? Elizabeth, when was the War of 1812?" And if you don't know, you get very nervous and uncomfortable. And you go, "I don't know."
I'll just sit there and look that stupid.
Right, and that's his version of doing that.
I don't know. I sit here every day. I'm going to be real with you. I sit here, when I start thinking about Al, I sit here and think inside my head, what did I do to him to make him not be my friend? That he doesn't want to be my friend, that he doesn't want to play with me. Why does he hate me so bad? You know, sometimes I reach out to him on Instagram, but like a day and a half, I haven't reached out to him because I didn't want to. Because I might be bothering him. So I stopped doing it. Then he reached out to me. And then I respond back. But I want to respond back to him again, but I just think if I keep doing that, he's just going to officially block me or do nothing to do with me. So I guess the big question is, I just want to know why he does the things that he does. And I just can't focus it. And I sit here and I blame myself like I did something wrong. When I don't even know if that's true or not. I mean, I might have played a role, but I don't know. And then I go on here on TikTok, all they talk about sad and depression and shit. But I kind of get into some of it, but I can relate to some of it, but not much. I get out of that. So, but if you don't, so what if you don't take medicine with depression and anxiety? What would happen then?
Well, of course, depression is on a continuum. You know, some people can be mildly depressed, moderate depressed, severely depressed. So, what would happen with diabetes if you didn't take medicine?
You could die from it?
Well, it's going to get worse instead of better. And that could potentially, you could die from it, but it depends on how severe it is. You know, high blood pressure, what does that mean? It's 10% too high, it's 20% too high, it's 50% too high. So depression is one of those disorders that's on a continuum, you know, mild, moderate, severe. So it really depends, but you know, the more you do for it, the less of a factor, negative factor in your life it's going to be.
So what type of depression I got?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to diagnose. I mean, it doesn't seem to be severe because you're able to get up and you're able to function and you're able to do things and concentrate. But
I know it's not severe.
But I don't think it's severe. But I also have to tell you that I think a lot of your depression is more to do with your lifestyle than being a biologically based, you know, serious brain disorder. I mean, you know, the fact that you don't have support, you don't have good friends. You know, you only have one person. You again put all your eggs in this one person's basket, and it wasn't a good choice because you're trying to get this guy to meet all these needs, and he can only meet like that much. And every time you say, well, I'm trying to ask him about this, I'm trying to ask him about that, what you're really trying to do is to get more out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what you're trying to do.
I did.
And in trying to get more out of him, you're running the risk of him just saying, I can't do this at all anymore. That's the risk that you're running with this guy. That's why you got to be really careful. You know? And you have it right. Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to push him away. And it's like, well, you are. But you still keep trying to. I know ultimately you understand this isn't a smart thing to do, or it's not a healthy thing to do. But I just keep getting the sense you're just trying to squeeze more and more and more out of this guy, and he lets you know when it's getting to be too much. But
yeah, because
and you back off. But then as soon as you feel safe again, like he's back in the fold, you go right back at it.
Yeah, and I don't need to keep doing that. Oh, Dr. Jerzak was going to call me today at 3.
Okay.
But something came up, so she's going to call me tomorrow at 11.
Oh. All right.
Because they called me and told me. I didn't even know it was today. I forgot about it, actually. Holly asked me about it, and I told her I don't know. Until they called me and told me.
All right, EW. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. And you can sign right now.
E-W.
Done.
I beat you to it.
You're good. All right. And here's the other one.
Yeah, I'll do you a favor. I put it inside the form too.
That's huge.
I helped you out.
That's big time. Look at that, man. Even tossed the pen right where it needed to go.
Yep.
All right. So Wednesday again?
Yes.
When's Aubrey coming back? Coming next?
I don't know.
Well, I'll
I
plan.
think Emily would know.
Okay, well, I'll plan on being here Wednesday morning,
Wednesday morning? Okay.
like around 10:30ish,
All right. Can you be
No.
up for 2 hours?
at least, yeah. Well,
All
2
right.
hours, yeah. Now let me tell you this. Now, if Aubrey called and says, "Oh, she has to come on Wednesday," I can change that. So, let me know.
Okay.
I mean, Wednesday works better, but I can change that if I have to. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easier. Let me put it this way: it's easier. It'll probably be easier for me to change than all.
No. I think Aubrey usually just comes on Tuesdays. She'll be coming during probably Emily's time or somewhere near Emily's time.
Okay. Yeah, I just it's yeah, nothing personal, I guess, right? But I just obviously if she's here, better she just take her time to focus on what she needs to do.
Yeah.
She doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after that time off she had to take, she seemed to be all right to you?
She seems alright, I guess. I don't know if she hides it. if anything. I mean, she lost one of her family members,
Yeah.
and then one of her people she works with. That's kind of hard.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And they were
That's
around
why
the
I'm
same
asking.
time. At the same time, too. Back to back news. That would be hard to do.
In this business, that is hard, even for professionals. That's tough when something like that happens. I mean, anyone who loses a family member, that's hard for everybody. But in this field, when someone hurts themselves, takes their own life, that's bad. Yes.
Yeah, when I told Emily, Aubrey, when she told me about it, I told her if she needs to take time or just let me know. I wouldn't mind.
All right.
I told her I got you guys, so I mean,
You don't need to, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm not in a rush to need her if I can work with you guys. I mean, because I mean, she ain't feeling better. I know she's not. Losing two people that she cared about, or somewhat cared about. I don't know how the relationship was with them, but
All right.
it's hard to deal with.
Well, tell her I said hi.
All right, if I see her, I'll let her know.
If you see her before I come back. But I'll be here Wednesday.
All right.
If anything needs to change, give me a call, okay?
All right, and you bring the exciting pictures,
I'll
right?
bring something on the side.
All right, thank you. All right, bye, George. All right. Alright. Coping with depression. When you're depressed, you can't just will yourself to snap out of it. But these tips can help put you on the road to recovery. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues, many of the delayed louder. Alright.
Because I'm in a party chat with my dad. I just came to game chat. A few of my dads in the game chat with y'all.
Why is dealing with depression so difficult? Depression drains your energy, hope, and drive, making it difficult to take the steps that will help you to feel better. Sometimes just thinking about the things you should do to feel better, like exercising or spending time with friends, can seem exhausting or impossible to put into action. It's the catch-22 of depression recovery. The things that help the most are the things that are the most difficult to do. There is a big difference, however, between something that's difficult and something that's impossible. While recovering from depression, isn't quickly or easily. You do have more control than you realize. Even if depression is severe and struggling presence, the key is to start small and build from there. You may not have much energy, but by drawing on a wall, you'll observe you should have enough to take a walk around the block or pick up the phone to call loved ones. For example, taking the first step is always the hardest, but going for a walk or getting up and dance to your favorite music, for example, is something you can do right now. And it can boost your mood and energy for several hours, long enough to put a second recovery step into action, such as preparing a mood boosting meal or arranging to meet an old friend by taking the following small but positive steps day by day. You'll soon lift the heavy fog of depression and find yourself feeling happier, healthier, and more hopeful again. Coping with depression, tip 1. Reach out and stay connected. Get support plays an essential role of overcoming depression. On your own, it can be difficult to maintain a healthy and sustainable the effort required to beat depression. At the same time, the very nature of depression makes it difficult to reach out for help. When you're depressed, the tendency is to withdraw and isolate, so that connecting to even close family members and friends can be tough. Helping someone with depression. You may feel too exhausted to talk, ashamed at your situation, or guilty for neglecting central relationships. But this is just the depression talking. Staying connected to other people and taking part of social activities will make a world of difference in your mood. And people and taking part in a social activities will make a world difference outlook. Reaching out is not a sign of weakness, and it won't mean you're a burden to others. Your loved ones care about you and want to help you. And if you don't feel that you have anyone to turn to, it's never too late to build new friendships and improve your support networks. How to reach out for depression support. Look for support from people who make you feel safe and cared for. person you talk to doesn't have to be able to fix you. They just need to be a good listener. Someone who listens attentively and compassionately without being distracted or judging. Make FaceTime a priority. Phone calls, social media, and texting are great ways to stay in touch, but they don't replace the good old-fashioned in-person quality time. The simple act of talking to someone face-to-face about how you feel can play a big role in revealing depression and keeping it away. Try to keep up with social activities, even if you don't feel like it often. When you're depressed, it feels more comfortable to retreat into your shell, but being around other people will make you feel less depressed. Find ways to support others. It's nice to receive support, but research shows you get an even bigger mood boost from providing support yourself. So find ways, both big and small, to help others. Volunteer, be a listener, ear for a friend. Do something nice for somebody. Care for a pet. While nothing can replace the human connection, pets can bring joy and companionship into your life. It helps you feel less isolated. Caring for a pet can also get you outside of yourself and give you a sense of being needed, both powerful antidotes to the depression. Join a support group with depression. Being with others dealing with depression can go a long way in reducing your sense of isolation. You can also encourage each other, give and receive advice on how to cope and share your experiences. 10 tips to staying connected. Talk to one person about your feelings. Help someone else by volunteering. Have lunch or coffee with a friend. Ask a loved one to check in with you regularly. Accompany someone to the movies, a concert, or a small get-together. Call or email an old friend. Go for a walk with a workout buddy. Schedule a weekly dinner date. Meet new people by taking a class or joining a club. Confiding in a cadre member, teacher, or support coach. Okay, to do things that make you feel good. In order to overcome depression, you have to do things to relax and energize you. This includes following a healthy lifestyle, learning how to better manage stress, setting limits on what you're able to do, and schedule fun activities into your day. Do things you enjoy or used to. While you can't force yourself to have fun and experience pleasure, you can't push yourself to do things even when you don't feel like it. You might be surprised at how much better you feel once you're out in the world. Even if you're depressed doesn't lift immediately, you'll gradually feel more upbeat and adrenaline as you make time for fun activities. Pick up a former hobby or a sport you used to like. Express yourself creatively through music, art, or writing. Go out with friends. Take a day trip to a museum or the mountains or the ballpark. Support your health. Aim for 8 hours of sleep. Depression typically involves sleep problems, whether you're sleeping too little or too much. Your mood suffers. Get on a better sleep schedule by learning healthy sleep habits. Keep stress in check. Not only does stress prolong or worsen depression, but it can also trigger it. Figure out all the things in your life that stress you out, such as work overload, money problems, or unsupportive relationships, and find ways to relieve the pressure and regain control. Practice relaxation techniques. A daily relaxation practice can help relieve symptoms of depression, reduce stress, and boost feelings of joy and well-being. Try yoga, deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or meditation. Develop a wellness toolbox to deal with depression. Come up with a list of things that you can do for a quick mood boost. The more tools for coping with depression you have, the better. Try and implement a few of these ideas each day, even if you're feeling good. Spend some time in nature. Listen what you like about yourself. Read a good book. Watch a funny movie or TV show. Take a long hot bath. Take care of a few small tasks. Play with a pet. Talk to friends or family face to face. Listen to music. Do something spontaneous. Alright, I'm going to find somebody. Tip 3, get moving. When you're depressed, just getting out of bed can seem like a daunting task, let alone working out. But exercise is a powerful depression fighter. And one of the most important tools in your recovery arsenal, research shows that regular exercise can be as effective as medication for relieving depression symptoms. It also helps prevent relapse once you're well. To get the most benefits, aim for at least 30 minutes of exercise per day. This doesn't have to be all at once, and it's okay to start small. A 10-minute walk can improve your mood for 2 hours. Okay. Exercise is something you can do right now to boost your mood. Your fidgety will improve if you stick with it. Start to exercise can be difficult when you're depressed and feeling exhausted. But research shows that your energy levels will improve if you keep with it. Exercise will help you to feel energized and less fidgety, not more. Find exercises that are continuous and romantic. The most benefits for depression come from romantic exercise such as walking, weight training, swimming, martial arts, or dancing, where you move both your arms and legs. Add a mindfulness element, especially if you're depressed. Depression is rooted in unresolved trauma or fed by obsessive negative thoughts. Focus on how your body feels as you move, such as the sensation of the feet hitting the ground, or the feeling of the wind on your skin, or the rhythm of the breathing. Pair up with an exercise partner. Not only does working out, but others enable you to spend time socializing, it can also help to keep up motivation. Try joining a running club, taking a water run, or dance classes, seeking out tennis partners, or enrolling in a soccer or volleyball league. Take a dog for a walk. If you don't own a dog, you can volunteer to walk homeless dogs or an animal shelter or rescue group. You'll not only be helping yourself, but also helping to the socializing and exercising the dogs, making them more adoptable. Eat a healthy depression-fighting diet. What you eat has a direct impact on the way you feel. Reduce your intake of foods that can eventually affect your brain and mood, such as caffeine, alcohol, trans fat, and foods with high levels of hormones, such as certain meats. Don't skip meals. Going too long between meals can make you feel irritable and tired. So aim to eat something at least every 3 to 4 hours. Minimize sugar to refrain carbs. You may crave sugar snacks, baked goods, or comfort foods such as pasta or french fries. But these feel-good foods quickly lead to a crash in the mood and energy. Aim to cut out as much of these foods as possible. Boost your B vitamins. The B vitamins such as folic acid and B12 can trigger depression. To get more, take a B complex vitamin supplement or eat more starch-rich foods, leafy greens, beans, oh that's nasty, chicken and eggs. Boost your mood with food rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids play an external role in stabilizing mood. The best source are fatty fish, such as salmon. Oh hell no, I ain't eating that shit. Or in some cold water fish oil supplements. Yeah, well that's not happening. Alright. Get a daily dose of sunlight. Sunlight can boost your levels and improve your mood. Whenever possible, get outside during daylight hours and expose yourself to the sun for at least 15 minutes a day. Removing sunglasses, but never stare directly at the sun. And use sunscreen as needed. Take a walk on the lunch break, have your coffee outside, enjoy an al fresco meal, or spend time gardening. Double up on the benefits of sunlight, exercising outside, try hiking, walking in a local park, or playing golf or tennis with a friend. Increasing the amount of natured light in your home and workplace by opening blinds and drapes and sitting near windows. If you live somewhere with little winter sunshine, try using a light therapy box. Dealing with winter blues. For some people, the reduced daylight hours of winter lead to a form of depression known as seasonal affective disorder. SAD can make you feel like a completely different. Okay, person to who you are in the summer, hopeless, sad, tense, or stressed, with no interest in friends or activities you normally love. No matter how hopeless you feel, there are plenty of things you can do to keep your mood stable throughout the year. Challenge negativity thinking. Do you feel like you're powerless or weak? That bad things happen and there's not much you can do about it. That your situation is hopeless. Depression puts a negativity spin on everything, including the way you see yourself and your expectations for the future. Okay. Read How to Stop Worrying. When these types of thoughts overwhelm you, it's important to remember that this is a symptom of your depression, and these is attitudes known as cognitive distraction aren't realistic. When you really examine them, they don't hold up. But even so, they can be taught to give up. You can break out of these mind frame by telling yourself to just think positive. Often it's part of lifelong pattern of thinking that becomes so automatic you're not even completely aware of it. Whether the trick is the identity, the type of negativity thoughts that are fueling your depression, and replacing them with a more balanced way of thinking. Negativity, unrealistic ways of thinking that fuel depression. All or nothing thinking, looking at things in black or white categories with no middle ground. If everything is not perfect, I'm a total failure. Generously from a single negativity experience expects it to hold true forever. I had a bad day, I'll never find anyone. The mental failure, ignoring positive events and focusing on the negativity, noticing the one thing that went wrong rather than all the things that went right. I got the last question on the test wrong. I'm an idiot. Diminishing the positivity. Coming up with reasons why positive events don't count. She said she had a good time on our date, but I think she was just being nice. Jumping to conclusions. Making negative interpretations without actually evidence. You act like a mind reader. He must think I'm a Papa. Damn, I don't know how to pronounce it. Something, I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, or a fortune teller. I'll be stuck in this dead-end job forever. Emotional reasoning, believing that the way you feel reflects reality. I feel like such a loser. Everyone must be laughing at me. Negativity, unrealistic ways of thinking that fuel depression, shoulds and should nots. Holding yourself to a strict list of what you should and shouldn't do, and beating yourself up if you don't live up to your roles. I should never have intervened with that job. I'm an idiot for thinking I could get it. Labeling, classifying yourself based on mistakes and perceiving shortcomings. I'm a failure and an idiot, a loser. Put your thoughts on the witness stand. Once you identify the destruction thought patterns that contributed to your depression, you can start to challenge them with questions such as, what's the evidence that this thought is true or not true? What will I tell a friend who had this thought? Is there another way to looking at the situation or an alternative explanation? How might I look at this situation if I didn't have depression? As you cross-examine your negativity thoughts, you may be surprised at how quickly they crumble. In the progress, you'll develop a more balanced perspective and help to relieve your depression. When to get professional help for depression? If you're taking self-help steps and made positive lifestyle changes and still find you're depressed, getting worse, seeking professional help, needed additional help doesn't mean you're weak. Sometimes the negativity thinking and depression can make you feel like you're weak. Sometimes the negativity thinking and depression can make you feel like you're lost cause. But depression can be treated and you can feel better. Don't forget about these self-help tips through even if you're receiving professional help. These tips can be part of your treatment plan, spending your recovery and preventing depression from returning. Will you help keep help guide free for all? One in four people will struggle with mental health at some point in their life, and with the coronavirus pandemic and troubled economy, many are in crisis right now. More than ever, people need to trustworthy places to turn for I lost where I was at. Hold on. For guidance and help. That is our mission at Help Guide. Our free online resources ensure that everyone can get the help they need when they need it, no matter what health insurance they have, where they live, or what they can afford. But as a non-profit that doesn't run ads or accept corporate sponsorships, we need your help. If you have already contributed, thank you, and if you haven't, please consider helping us to reach those who need it. Donate today from as little as $3. Okay, get more help. Back from the blues, self-help models for coping with depression. How depression causes negativity, spin, common connectivity, destruction, and how to change them. Depression hotlines. In the U.S., find DBSA chapter support groups or call the NAMI helpline for support and referrals. UK, Australia, Canada. Suicide prevention help. Call National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Now what is this one? 25 ways to build stronger friendships. Let's see what this is. Friendships are incredibly important at certain stages in your life. Friendships are everything to us. The most important thing in our lives is friendships help define us. Our friends can influence our choices, where we live, what we eat, what we buy. Friendships grow and changes as people come and grow. There is old proverb that says, friends are flowers and guardians of life. Friendships need their own kind of water and soil to grow healthy and strong. The following of 25 things to keep in mind to further building a stronger friendship. Choose friends wisely. You do not have to be everyone's friend. Choose to be friends with people who build you up, not tear you down. Choose friends who inspire you and welcome you, not insult you. You can't choose the family you are born into, but you can choose your friends. Listen closely to what the other person is saying. Let that person know that you hear them. Ask clarifying questions summarizing what you've heard. Though through helpful, it does not always have to be through words. Eye contact and body language are also important ways to showing someone you are listening. Respond carefully. Think before you speak, especially if you are angry. Sometimes taking a moment to think about what you say before you starting blurting things out will spare hurt feelings and bruise pride. Also, when friends feel like it's okay to be themselves around you, they trust you. Choose your words with care. Avoid consistently giving advice or trying to fix all of your friends' problems. By all means, if a friend asks for your advice, give it. They might want you to proofread an important email before it is sent out. Maybe they are struggling with a relationship. Perhaps life is throwing them a curveball, and they need your support or insight. Don't wiggle your way into every aspect of the friend's life, telling them how to be the star or their own show. Give them room to process things and make their own decisions. Play fair. Avoid trying to one-up your friends. Eventually, your friends won't want to play with you anymore. Be yourself. Be honest. Avoid putting up as facade. We all test our relationships by throwing something out there about your true nature. We then hide behind a corner, head peeking out, waiting for the response. If someone can accept you for who you are, develop a relationship with them will be hard. Don't shortchange yourself by denying your beliefs, values, and points of view. For the sake of fitting in, you won't be doing anyone any favors. Communication openly and honestly. Develop communications with a person can take time and trust. Ask your friends that you can do for them. Share what you have to offer. Don't be afraid to let people know what you need. Share what is necessary, but don't dominate the conversation. When a problem airs, work through it together. Accept your friends for who they are. On your search for friends, you can accept yourself. Keep in mind, other people are looking for the same thing. We all want people who love us for who we are. Respect their choice. It's okay to disagree. If your friend decides to make a move when you think standing still is the right thing to do, let them do their thing. If you're giving your advice and your friend sees things differently, step aside. What your friend is doing might be right for their life, but not yours. They might be making a mistake, but if it doesn't kill them, minimum them or leave them in a coma. Hopefully they can learn from an experience. And if will kill them, lock them in a closet and don't let them out until they've forgotten what you trapped them in the first place. What the fuck? Be the kind of friend who wants others to be for you. You want friends who are honest, kind, compassionate, fair, not judgmental, and intelligent. Be the person first, and you'll be more likely to attract that kind of friend into your life. Be empathic, trying to understanding things from your friend's point of view can help your communication and understanding each other better. Give compliments. Show love for your friends by complimenting them on their complimenting them on their good qualities or things they do well. Has a friend done something you admire them for? Let them know. Express your gratitude. Let your friends know that you value your friendship. Tell them, write them a note. Did you see the collector's edition of their favorite movie? Well, you were out, buy a copy. Surprise your friend by taking him or her out for lunch or dinner at one of their favorite places. Admit to and apologize. When you do something wrong, admit it. Learn to apologize. Sometimes a friend is upset and all they want from you is to genuinely say sorry. It shows that you realize you messed up. And that you will hopefully not make the same mistake again. Let go. Did a friend do something that hurt you? Have you talked it through? Were apology made? Let go and move on. If you don't, you'll hang on to that transition and it will tent the relationship going forward. Don't trench up a prickling patch of your past. Try your best to make a fresh start. Make time for your friends. Spend time with your friends. It might feel odd to schedule your friends on your calendar, but if you have a busy schedule, getting time in your book is better than letting them go. Show your friends that you want to be around them. Is your friend far away? Write them an email, chat with them via email, or call them on the phone. Plan a weekend to get together. Making time for your friends sends the message that they are an important part of your life. Keep your promises. If you know you can't deliver something, don't promise that you will. Hello? What are you doing? Why? Oh, okay. Oh, Holly was here. No, Holly came in the morning, like around 11. 10:30, 11. And then George came at 1. And then he left at 2. And then at 3, I was supposed to have my doctor call me, but I have to wait till tomorrow to talk to her. at 11. You know, the doctor who gives me medicine. Oh, and that's a follow-up. I guess how my medicine's working, how am I doing? Has my symptoms changed? I don't know. No, I haven't been taking it. I don't want it. Huh? I didn't hear you. No. I thought I might take it, but I don't. Oh, I wish I had a new one. A deep fryer. Soon. But I don't know when. I don't got no more cigarettes. Did you get it for me? What bag? It is menthol, right? Alright. How much it cost? That's more than you were gonna get me in the first place. You mad? Well, here's the thought. Why don't you stop getting stuff that you don't need right now? What? That's not what I'm talking about. Why? I don't know. Alright. Hmm? Where? Mm. No, I was reading my paper that George gave me. No, it's about depression. And then we're gonna work on anxiety. Because we're gonna work on my symptoms. He's gonna teach me how to do this and do that, so. Then I have PTSD, so that's gonna be the next one probably. That's probably gonna be next week. And then anger issues, trust issues, you know, making friends, blah blah blah. You know, so on and so on. Because I can't work on my friendship when I don't have a friend. What? Who? I'm talking about my friendship with Al, stupid. I don't know. He's not there. He's not there anymore. Yeah, but Bishop King don't work there no more. They got a new bishop. I mean, Bishop King's still there, but he doesn't do that stuff anymore. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't care to know. I don't remember where they're at. I don't know the name of it. It's in Green Tree, I think. And then when I was trying to go back to bed, fucking Holly banged on my door. Then after she left, I was trying to get some sleep before George came. The motherfucker banged on my door. What the fuck? She only stayed for an hour. Huh? Only one that stayed that long was Emily. Holly comes for an hour. The latest she could stay is an hour and 15 minutes. George, he comes from 2 hours. He comes for 2 hours. But today he only did an hour because he was supposed to leave at 4, but no, he came at 1. So he would have, if he came at 1, he would have left at like around 3. But he usually comes from 2 to 4. Or 10 to 12. But he had a meeting today and he had other people to do with the training stuff that he had to do at his job for Martin Luther King and stuff. So he couldn't stay too long, so he at least did an hour with me. And then, what's her name? Aubrey, she does an hour. Now the longest, maybe the minimum she could stay is like 2 hours. And Emily, it's required to do 2 hours, but she stays like 4 or 5 hours. She gets annoying. No, I said that shit's annoying. I didn't say she was, I said that. Staying like 4 or 5 hours is bullshit. So that's pretty much it. Huh? How to cope with depression and 25 ways to make a friendship. I already did coping with depression. I already read all that. I'm on the 25 way to make a friend. Or how to keep a friend. I don't know, probably, I don't know. But I very doubt it. What? What are you talking about? Cereal. Oh my. Night. Hmm. Night. Alright, thank you. Bye bye. Alright, let me see. Alright. Let go. Did a friend do something that hurt you? Have you talked it through? Were apologies made? Let go and trudge. Move on. If you don't, you'll hang on the transition and it will tent the relationship going forward. Don't treasure up a pricker patch of the past. Try your best to make a fresh start. Hello? Yeah. I don't know who. Really? That seems odd. I gotta check it out. No. Alright. Bye. Okay, make time for your friends. Spend time with your friends. It might feel odd to schedule your friends on your calendar, but if you have a busy schedule, getting them in your book is better than letting them go. Show your friends that you want to be around them. Is your friend far away? Write them an email, chat with them in a VIM. I must have already did all this. Call them on the phone, plan a weekend get together, making time for your friend. Send the message that they are an important part of your life. Okay, keep your promises. If you know you can deliver something, don't promise that you will. If you make a promise, do your best to keep it. It is better to say, I don't think I can make it on Saturday night, but let's get lunch next week, then saying you will show up and then accept a different invitation or cancel at the last minute. Celebrate what you have in common. Most friendships are starting because of some common trade, a favorite sports, a love of books, an appreciation of fine wine, and a suffering boss. Get season tickets to your favorite baseball team, or check out the local library book sell together next month. Try new things together. What new experiences can you share with your friend? It could be as simple as checking out the new local coffee shop, or as an adventure as bungee jumping. Have fun together. Friendships, like any other relationship, can fall into a rut sometimes, especially if you do with your friends is share your latest compliments every time you see each other. Shake up the routine. Go out and do something fun and both enjoy, or look at that list of new things to try that you came up with and do one of them, and it's great to have a friend you can open up with, but lighten the boundary load and let loose. Create some happy memories together. Seek balance in your friendship. Entering in a relationship with selfish motives and being a person who takes until the well runs dry is likely to lead a lonely life. Serve and support your friends. What can you do for them? How can you help? What can you add to their life or their day to make it a little bit better? Take equal responsibility for the friendship. Take turns making plans for or driving across town to see each other. If there is a problem, acknowledging your part in it, figure it out together how to make it right. If both people are not tending to the relationship, it will not flourish. Be a cheerleader. Be encouraged. Motivate your friends. It firmly goes a long way. If your friends aren't in your corner, who is? Keep personal information confidential. As a relationship grows, it is common for friends to share confidential they told you is in the secret of confidence. Do not betray your friend by sharing these secret stories with others. Many times a relationship has been ruined over spilled secrets. Unclench your first friendship. Growing and changes, sometimes they end. You can change a lot in a year. Imagine Imagine how much you can change in 10 years. The person you were when you met someone is not the person you will always be. You grow up, you change your mind about things. Your friends will do the same. Sometimes a friend you've known for years will start to play a bigger role in your life as their years pass. Perhaps your lifestyle changes, particularly in spending tons of time together, just does not feel right anymore because you have a fewer interests in common. This friend might stay in your life, but might have less impact in the influence in it. That's okay. If a person is bringing you down, hurting you, or starts to go down a dangerous path, it is completely acceptable to end the relationship. Sometimes we struggle to hang on to a willing relationship. Many times it is healthy to let go. Yeah, well, that's not happening. Alright, recommend course with discounts. Social Masters, how to build true long-lasting friends. Long-lasting friend course. Make new friends, boost your communication and social skills. I don't even feel like playing my fucking game. Excuse me.